everyone else, I am getting used to kind of a new normal around the world, right? Like, if you've been watching my videos for the past couple of weeks, you'll notice like I'm wearing a bunch of like Nike sweatsuits because I've decided if I'm going to be home, I'm going to be comfortable. And the other day I did something I'd never done before. I taught a full day training online. I taught a full day training right here from my office on Zoom, literally in front of, however many people over the course of 8 hours. And it was amazing, actually. I loved it. It was super, it was different than live events, but it was still super invigorating, super inspiring, and I absolutely loved it. And one of the things I've been saying in my training events for a really long time, to kind of make the point of like how we ask solution-focused questions, is that in order to do solution-focused brief therapy, you have to understand the difference between being curious and asking questions that are driven by curiosity and being nosy. And when I mentioned this to the group the other day, they had a bunch of questions like, what's the difference between being curious and being nosy? And I wanted to share this with you because it really is such an important thing. One of the things I've come to realize, and I really want my information and my training material and my videos to address this, is a lot of people, they're like, so what's wrong with my questions, right? If I tried solution-focused brief therapy with this client, or I tried a solution-focused technique, I tried to ask a scaling question, miracle question, whatever, and it didn't seem to work, so what's wrong? And when I really dig in, and if I watch an example of that person doing the therapy session, it's not the question that's wrong, it's like the context that makes it fall flat and makes it hard to do. So I want to make sure you guys like understand these really nuanced but important things that make solution-focused brief therapy different than other approaches. And one of them is understanding this dynamic, the relationship between curiosity and nosiness. So let me make the point. If being curious is when you ask a question that is related to your function, right? So here in a minute, I'm going to go to the grocery store, which I'm excited about, by the way, because I haven't been to the grocery store in like a week. So I'm going to go to I haven't been out of the house, right? So this is going to be a really cool outing. So I'm going to go to a grocery store, and when I approach the cashier, they're going to ask me relevant questions, like, would you like paper or plastic? Would you like this in a bag? Do you want the receipt? Like, those are all relevant questions to the dynamic that I have with that person and the role that they have in my life at that time. So if they ask me a question that is outside of the role, like if they say something to me like, how much did your car cost? I will experience that as an intrusive question, because what does that have to do with the relationship that we have based upon the function you are serving in my life, right? So, but if I go, so there's nothing wrong with that question. There's nothing wrong with the question, how much did your car cost? There's just something wrong with how it fell in the dynamic in which I have with the person and the function they have in my life at the time. But if I were to go to a place to buy a car, and the car salesman says, how much did your last car cost? I wouldn't experience that as an intrusive question, because it's clearly related to what they're doing in my life. Now, in solution-focused brief therapy, we start out with the desired outcome. We usually ask clients, what are your best hopes from our talking? Because we want to know, what difference do you want this conversation, this therapy, to make in your life? How would you like meeting with me to make an impact on your life? And then clients tell us, like, I want to be happy, let's say, for this example. Well, that means my relationship with this client is related to the presence of happiness. So I can say things like, when was happiness last in your life? Who in your life notices the happiness? When the happiness is present, what's different about you? If you woke up tomorrow and the happiness was there, what would you start to notice? So I can ask questions that connect to the stated outcome that the client has for the therapy session. If I step outside of that and I ask questions that typically we use for like assessment in the more problem-focused way, I am violating the idea that I'm going to stick to asking questions that are related to the outcome you told me you want to achieve. I'm now asking questions that step outside of that, and clients experience that is intrusive. So that's what we mean when we say we want to ask questions that are driven by curiosity and not nosiness, right? So, like I said, I'm gonna go now because I get to leave the house. I'm all out of certain foods and things, so I'm gonna go to the grocery store and pick up some stuff. And what a world we now live in, where I'm like super excited to go to the grocery store and just interact with random people I might meet, like cashiers or whoever. Who would have thought that this would be like the cool outing to go to? But here we are. It's the cool outing to go to. But before I go, do me a favor. Like this video. Share this video. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel, hit subscribe and make sure you hit the bell so you get a notification every time I post a new video, which I do almost daily. And please also leave a comment. Like, did this make sense to you? And let me know what you're thinking about these videos, because it helps me to do them. And with that, I'm about to take off. Elbow bump. Later.